Good evening. Welcome to the September 16th council meeting for Clark Township. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilman Hund.
Here.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Here.
Councilman Minetti.
Here.
Councilman O'Connor is absent. Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Toll.
Present.
Council President Albanese.
Here. This time, I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, as adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by mailing the annual schedule of meetings to the Star-Ledger, Union County Hawk, Union County Local Source, and Tappan to Clark, by posting such annual meeting schedule on the bulletin board and town hall reserved for such announcements, the official website of the township, and the proper filing of said notice. Formal action may be taken at this meeting.
Okay, at this time, we're going to I'd like a motion to suspend the regular order of business.
So moved. I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith and Councilman Hund. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time we'll have a proclamation read regarding the 75th anniversary of the Ark of Union County.
Whereas the Ark of Union County was founded in 1949 by a group of dedicated parents who sought to ensure that their children with disabilities had a place that would serve and advocate for them, fostering a community of support and inclusion. And whereas the Ark of Union County, Incorporated, headquartered in Springfield, New Jersey, is a nonprofit 501c3 organization committed to enriching the lives of individuals of all ages with intellectual and developmental disabilities, serving more than 1,000 adults and children throughout Union and surrounding counties. And whereas for 75 years, the Ark of Union County has profoundly impacted our community by providing essential support and services to families, tirelessly working to empower and support individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And whereas the mission of the Ark of Union County is to empower and support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families by engaging individuals served, their families, and both public and private entities to ensure that all individuals associated with the organization realize a full, productive, and enhanced life. And whereas the vision of the Ark of Union County is to create a socially just, accessible, and inclusive environment where the human rights and diversity of all people with disabilities are recognized, respected, and celebrated for their achievements. And whereas the Ark of Union County upholds values of accountability, competence, affection, courtesy, flexibility, service, transparency, and professionalism, which guide their efforts in providing exceptional support and advocacy for individuals and families. And whereas the Ark of Union County operates with an active volunteer board of directors and a professional management team, ensuring the success and fulfillment of its mission through dedicated leadership and community involvement. Now therefore, I, Sal Bonacorso, Mayor of the Township of Clark, do hereby proclaim the week of October 6th through October 12th, 2024, as the Ark of Union County Week in the Township of Clark, in honor of their 75 years of invaluable service, support, and advocacy for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. I urge all citizens to recognize and celebrate the tremendous contributions of the Ark of Union County to our community and to continue supporting their mission for many years to come. Signed, Mayor Sal Bonacorso.
Thank you. This time, I'd like a motion to resume the regular order of business.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move on to communications from the mayor and reports of township officers. Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council, ladies and gentlemen here tonight, and those at home. First off, I'd like to thank everyone who came out to the 9/11 ceremony on September 11th at Jim Nelson Park. We are there to remember and honor Jim and all those who perished in the 9/11 tragedy. I'd like to thank the people who attend. There's basically a nice big crowd, and I see a lot of the same familiar faces each and every year, and every now and then joined by some new faces. So thank you all. It's very important that we never forget, and I think when we said that years ago in Clark, we meant it, and especially Jim Nelson, Port Authority police officer, who was lost that day. September is the last month for branch cleanup, folks, please. If you're listening at home, get them out now. They're going to be picked up the fourth week of the month. That's it. We have to start mulching the heap to make room for leaf collection, which starts the last Monday in October. So please, ladies and gentlemen, I know everybody's got a branch fetish and they like to put them out. If there's some kind of big storm or something, we'll make provisions to pick it up. But if you decide that on October 5th it's a good day to go outside and trim your apple tree, you're going to have them on your lawn until next spring. I'm sorry, we just can't keep going through this year after year. The cleanup started about St. Patrick's Day, and it ran right through September, so you had ample opportunity, okay? Thank you for that, I appreciate. I'd like you to all join myself, the council, and the Board of Education on October the 11th at the Johnson football game. It is Patriots Night. I think it's our 4th year doing this, I believe, and a tradition we started to honor the Patriots and veterans of this great community. They're playing, I believe it's Del Val that night. It'll be a good game, and more importantly, we're trying to always have awareness with our student athletes and our students at Johnson that our veterans, our patriots of this country are very important. It gives us the right to do what we do each and every day. So we'll see you there, I hope. And I'd like to thank everybody who attended today's Senior Citizen Barbecue. It was a great day. Deutscher Club is a fabulous host, and the seniors that came out enjoyed it. I'd like to thank Dr. Tasha Rafi, resident of our town, and I'd like to thank him for being there, providing the flu shots for everybody who would like one. So that concludes my report. Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing as I'm drawing on it. Police Department submitted to me today the traffic enforcement for August 2024. There was 168 motor vehicle stops, 47 radar details, and there was 8 traffic enforcement details. Plus, we unveiled our new speed radar trailer that will be on the side of the road with the signals flashing of how fast you're going, and hopefully this will always work to slow people down. School is in session, folks. I remind you, please be extra careful this time of year. No one wants a tragedy. No one needs one. That concludes my report, and thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Hund?
Thank you, Madam President. I have the August 2024 Clark Police Department monthly report. In August, we saw a total of 1,884 calls for service, including but not limited to 117 ambulance requests, 7 fire department requests, 13 motor vehicle and residential lockouts, 93 alarm calls, 77 motor vehicle accidents, 31 shoplifting and theft, 10 fraud/identity theft, 228 were 9/11 calls, and 1,091 were miscellaneous calls. There were a total of 23 arrests, including but not limited to 12 for shoplifting, 6 for warrants, 1 simple assault, 2 for DUI. And that concludes my report for the month. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. Councilman Mazzarella?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. So my DPW report for this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like a tree planted in the front of your home, please contact Scott McCabe at smccabe@ourclark.com. We have a limited supply of trees, and we don't know the species. So as soon as they run out, there will be no more available. So please, if you want one, please email Scott. Electronic drop-off is September 28th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. At a DPW yard behind this building here. The final drop-off for 2024 is October 26th. Please make a note of that. There won't be any more until next March. Grass pickup is every Tuesday, and this will be ending on October 8th. Please place all the grass clippings in biodegradable bags and grass clippings only. Anything else inside the bags, if it's noticed, they won't pick it up. So please remember that. Final branch pickup, as the mayor mentioned, is this month. Please place your branches out this week for pickup on the 4th week. And ladies and gentlemen, as the mayor mentioned, there will be no further pickups unless we have a storm. So if you do cut your branches, leave them on your lawn till next spring. So please put them out this week for a pickup next week. Okay, and bulky and appliance pickup. Appointments are required before your scheduled pickup, and bulky and appliance are completely different. So please make the appropriate comments when you contact DPW. October is the final month for bulky and appliance pickup. Leaf pickup starts October through December 19th. Please, when you place your leaves out, you could put them out in bulk, leave them about 1 foot from the curb to the leaves. This will allow for proper water runoff, and it won't clog our catch basins. Root mulch is available. Deliveries on Fridays. Scheduled a delivery by Thursday. DPW is making available 16-inch wood for free. They were already cut. It's outside the DPW gate. Please don't make a mess. No chainsaws are permitted, or log splitters. And if you need any other information, please contact DPW at ourclock.com or www.ourclock.com to schedule all the pickups and the services that DPW provides. Thank you. That's the extent of my report.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Councilman Minetti?
Thank you, Madam President. In the month of August, the Clark Fire Department responded to 56 calls, totaling 333 for the year. The calls included, but not are limited to, numerous odors and alarms calls. 2 calls were for mutual aid from other towns. 2 calls for motor vehicle incidents on the Garden State Parkway. 4 calls related to down power lines around town. 2 calls were for assistance in elevators, people stuck in elevators, and 3 calls for home-related fires. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into the fall. Please attend your fire pits. Don't leave them unattended. And as always, I'd like to thank the Clark Fire Department for their hard work and dedication. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Minetti. Councilman Smith?
Thank you, Madam President. The pool and recreation report. The pool closed on Labor Day, and the day after was the first doggy dip, which was attended by 24 dogs and their owners, and their plans are to do it again next year. Registration for the fall classes will begin shortly. All information is on the Recreation tab on the ourclark.com website, or you could always stop down in the office and see Ralph Bernardo or Emily Lambert. The annual trunk or treat is scheduled for Saturday, October 12th in the Brewer parking lot, and it begins at 12 noon. And the Unico Italian Festival is October 10th through 13th in the Brewer parking lot. They are in need of volunteers. The volunteers is what makes the event very successful, and all the money raised from the event is given back to the community in the form of scholarships to high school seniors as well as many charities. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Councilman Toll?
Thank you, Madam President. From the Environmental Commission, they will be holding a meeting tomorrow. This is Monday the 16th. Tomorrow is the 17th in Room 30, a.k.a. the History Room in Brewer Municipal Building. Meeting's at 7:30. All are welcome to join us for an informative discussion of the issues of Clark and the Mother Nature. Thank you.
In the absence of Councilman O'Connor, I'm going to give the Clark Volunteer Emergency Squad report. I'm pleased to congratulate Robert Macaluso, who just successfully passed the National Registry Emergency Medical Technician Certification exam. As far as call volume, there were 119 calls in June with 8 mutual aid calls. This doesn't include any calls that were dispatched to and that were canceled upon the time of arrival. Total hours responding to calls is approximately 774 labor hours. Again, this doesn't include the many hours that are spent off duty when not on calls. Year-to-date through August, the squad has handled a volume of 935 calls. If you're interested, and they are looking for associate members, you can email the squad or get an application on the Township website. So the squad is looking for associate members, and these members that support the efforts of the squad with social media, public relations, recruitment efforts, etc., but do not respond to calls. So if you're interested, please reach out to them via their website on ourclark.com. As far as servicing the community, the squad hosted 2 blood drives in August, and they're asking that you check their lawn signs to see what dates they're having upcoming blood drives. So thank you, Lori Sheldon, trustee, for that report. I have the report for the library. The library had 10,865 visitors enter the building in August and recorded 7,536 website visits. So we've had really an uptick in attendance at the library, which is pretty exciting. They have a program that's coming up. Now, I'm not sure if it's Thursday or tomorrow, because the date doesn't match the day. So it's the Hispanic Genealogy Masterclass. If you're interested in finding about your Hispanic heritage during Hispanic Heritage Month, the program will go over 4 steps on how to start your genealogy research to look for Hispanic genealogy, family search, or resources, and other resources that are available through various societies, and specifically resources will be available for Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. On October 3rd, we have Muscle Man Mike Rescue Heroes Show. This will be on Thursday, October 3rd, at 10:30 a.m. Puppet firefighter Sam finds a hard way to get out of impossible situations, and he tells the children a secret. He's no ordinary firefighter, has magic powers. The children will say some magic words, and pow, the magic begins. So if the children want to learn about firefighter Sam's rescue friends, please stop by on Thursday, October 3rd at 10:30 a.m. And last but not least, we will have a fresh mozzarella demonstration in celebration of the feast. That will be held on Thursday, October 10th at 7 p.m. Join Chef Salvatore Fioravante, who's been teaching classes over at our rec center. He'll do an in-person demonstration on how to make delicious, fresh mozzarella. And that concludes the reports that I have. We are going to move on now to the report of the ordinances, appropriations, and claims, and public hearings on the ordinances. Madam Clerk?
We have one ordinance for public hearing. It's ordinance 24-13, an ordinance to amend Section 36 of Chapter 3 of the Code of the Township of Clark.
Okay, regarding the adoption of this ordinance, I'd like to open this up to a public hearing. If there's anyone who wishes to come forward on this ordinance, please do so at this time. Council, seeing no one coming forward, I'd like a motion to close this portion.
I'll move that, Madam President.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Councilman Toll. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Maniti. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like a motion to adopt the ordinance.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Madam Clerk, when you're ready, would you call the roll?
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Ordinance adopted.
At this time, we're going to introduce a proposed ordinance. I'll have the clerk read that, please.
We have one ordinance for introduction, ordinance 24-14, an ordinance to amend Article 5 entitled Traffic Regulations of Chapter 347 entitled Vehicles and Traffic of the Code of the Township of Clark.
Do Do I have a motion
I'll
to
move that.
introduce? Thank you, Councilman Maniti. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. At this time, I'd like to ask our Business Administrator, Mr. Ulrich, to comment.
Yes, so this was part of the planning board approval for the Starbucks on Central Avenue. This is the don't block the box ordinance for the property. There's those two office buildings. The one is actually the physical therapist, ice cream store across the street, a dentist, and then the other one is the office building. And we're just memorializing the don't block the box.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to have a roll call.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Public hearing on this ordinance is October 21st.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to report on the payment of claims. In the absence of Councilman O'Connor, I'm a member of the Finance Committee. I've reviewed the capital and current bill list expenditures and that have been encumbered through September 11th, that was approved by our Business Administrator in the amount of $265,939.92. This time, we'll move on to citizens' hearing on the agenda items. If there's anyone wishing to come forward, please do so at this point. So I'm opening up the meeting to the public for anyone who would like to talk about agenda items. Seeing no one come forward, I'd like to close this portion of the meeting. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Councilman Toll. Thank you, Councilman Hund. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, at this time, we're going to move over on to the resolutions.
First resolution is appointing Tara Oliveira and Andrew Callow as Municipal Alliance Coordinators effective August 22nd until December 31st, 2024.
Do I have a motion, Council?
Move that, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Madam Clerk, when you're ready, call the roll.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 4 is authorizing the administration to execute an agreement to renew membership in the New Jersey Municipal Self-Insurers Joint Insurance Fund for a 3-year term.
I'll move that, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Madam Clerk, when you're ready, call the roll.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti. Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 5 is designating 27 Westfield Avenue LLC as the conditional redeveloper of 27 to 33 Westfield Avenue and 26 Washington Street.
Do I have a motion, Council?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Roll call, Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes.
Number 6 is seeking approval of the Director of the Division of Local Government Services for insertion of a special item of revenue in the amount of $2,153.55 for the National Opioid Settlement.
Do I have a motion, Council?
Move this as well.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Councilman Hund.
Councilman Hund.
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella.
Yes.
Councilman Maniti.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Toll.
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes. At this time, we're going to move on to consent agenda resolutions. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Okay. First resolution is authorizing the tax collector to settle a tax appeal for Block 60, Lot 64, as authorized by the Tax Court of New Jersey with credit issued in the amount of $72,342.97. Number 8 is authorizing the tax collector to settle a tax appeal for Block 70, Lot 28.01, C0001, as authorized by the Tax Court of New Jersey, with credit issued in the amount of $28,031.45. 9 is authorizing the tax collector to apply sewer account balance adjustments as credit in the amount of $4,612.50. And 10 is authorizing the tax collector to make the proper adjustment for 100% property tax exemption of Block 38.03, Lot 47, in accordance with a directive from the United States Department of Veterans Affairs.
Council, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman
I'll
Toll.
second that.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Roll call when you're ready, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hund,
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella,
Yes.
Councilman Manitti,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Toll,
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes. Okay, at this time, we have some new business on the calendar. We wish to authorize submission of a grant request to the Department of Community Affairs to upgrade equipment and vehicles at the Clark Fire Department. Since this was not discussed at our workshop, we need a motion to add this resolution to the agenda this evening, gentlemen. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Manitti. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilman Hund,
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella,
Yes.
Councilman Manitti,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Toll,
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes. Okay, at this time, we'd like a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Councilman Manitti. Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman Mazzarella. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Hund,
Yes.
Councilman Mazzarella,
Yes.
Councilman Manitti,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Toll,
Yes.
Council President Albanese.
Yes. Okay, at this time, I'd like to open up the meeting to public comments. If there's anyone who wishes to come forward, please state your name and address, and the location where you reside, to the clerk, and all remarks should be addressed to the council as a body, not to exceed 5 minutes in duration. Is there anyone who wishes to come forward? Oh, I think Nancy was first, yeah. Hello?
All right. Nancy Twaskis, 43 Colonial Drive. And the comment with pronouns and the focus on them these days, but in the public comments section, you know, there is this thing of singular nouns and plural nouns, combining them together, and I'm just thinking, with two little simple changes, it could be made grammatically correct and I think still be appropriate, and it would be changing, instead of having each person addressing the council, if that was changed to all people addressing the council, and change, instead of giving their name, if you would make their names and the town in which they reside, it would all be grammatically correct in the old way of grammar, I guess. So just a comment about the grammar in the public comments section. I guess I'm not really up to the new version of English, but we could make it the old version of English if we wanted to look at it, the old version of English. I look at it as the correct version of English. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, John Greaves, 30 Parkway Drive. Just a few different things. First, I was talking to some neighbors, and we were talking about the roads on Union County Parkway and Parkway Drive there, and we were just discussing how, you know, if you're a family, you're trying to walk with your kids, it can be a little bit dangerous there. I realize that, you know, I think Union County Parkway is a county road and all, but has there been any ideas or thoughts about maybe doing something where there's an easier way for people to walk, because it has like some curves that are hard for cars to see people and also for people to see cars. I just wanted to put that out there and see if that's something that maybe we could do a little bit better with. Another thing that I was looking at is I was, I was at the 9/11 ceremony, and I was, noticing the fire department, and I know the EMTs are also volunteers. And as I was looking at the budget, and I saw that the length of service award program, the appropriation for that for this year, 24, and also for 2023 is only $1,000. And the years before that, it was like $60,000. And I don't actually know why that is. Maybe there are some reasons. I just wanted to know a little bit about that. I am back here because I did want to talk about the pilot programs again. I'm a father of 2 boys, and I'm worried about the impact on schools. I've been told I have no clue about the things, that there's no effect on the schools, and it's the state's fault. But there is an impact on schools. Walnut Avenue development has 178 residential units that are going to add students to the schools. That increases burden, but doesn't add funding to offset that burden. That hurts schools. The state did pass the legislation that allows pilots, but this legislation doesn't require the town to use pilots. It's voluntary. The town has the discretion to enter into these agreements or not. The town's not required to do it. It seems that the problem isn't that I don't have a clue, but that maybe the mayor was mistaken, because he's the one I think has said some things like that, as well as the council. Everyone makes mistakes, but this mistake affects our children, and I'm concerned about it. And I'm just curious also, why doesn't the council correct him, and why don't they look up the laws around pilots to see how they work? These are the basic elements of the law, and that's a problem. The council doesn't seem to help the mayor when he's mistaken. They just seem to follow along with the mistake. We see this again when the mayor said he saved the school board like $3 million a year by donating classrooms to the special ed program. The entire program's budget's around $3 million. The rent saved in the classroom isn't $3 million. If it would be like $250,000 a month. The council didn't correct him there. They followed along and tried to justify his claim instead of correcting him. Residents rely on you to help on situations like this. Researching and being knowledgeable about what is being voted on is fundamental. I'm asking you to please be a reasonable check and balance on the mayor and help to communicate the true nature of issues to residents. And one last thing is, I wanted to say, I noticed a clear contempt for newer residents here. I'm one of them, While I haven't been here for 30 years, I have made the biggest investment of my life here in Clark. My kids learned to fish here in Jackson's Pond. They learned to swim in the Clark pool. I held my mother's hand as she took her last breath here in Clark. My life is here in Clark, and I don't think I deserve special treatment, but I deserve equal treatment. And so do other residents like me. I don't think I should have to wait until after my kids grow up before my concerns about the town that they live in are addressed. This attitude is wrong, and I'm asking you to stop. That's it. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council, Mayor Bonacorso. My name is Glenn Fogarty. I live in the Goodman's Crossing section off of Lake Avenue. Cumulatively, I have been here for 30 years connected with Clark. I've spent the last 24 years here. I also went to grade school for 6 years at the former St. Agnes School on Madison Hill Road, so that's 30 years right there. And, between going to college and law school at Notre Dame and then working in Virginia state government for the insurance commissioner for 6 years, I've been back quite a while. So I have invested 30 years. I'm not making light of Mr. Greaves' claims, but I also would like to note Mr. Schulman is not here for the second month in a row. If he claims he has such concerns about the state of Clark, he could at least show up for the meetings and dress appropriately at them as well. So tonight I'm here to talk about a group of candidates that call themselves Stronger Clark. I'm going to make an exception or redaction for Mr. Bill Gribb on that, because I have found he has acted in a very open and transparent way. in communications on social media and personally. I do not find that to be the case with Stronger Clark in the rest of their communications or their behavior, either in person or online, whoever happens to be speaking for them as Stronger Clark on their Facebook page. I think they have rightly earned the title Stranger Clark from many of our residents because, first of all, they're strangers to most of us. Mr. Schulman and some of the others do not participate in town activities. They only show up when it's a photo op or a time to shill for votes. Furthermore, their fairly far-left views are quite weird or strange for the most part. They are in line with the Kamala Harris and Tim Walz agendas, and there's not a lot of difference. Furthermore, they have a history of making outright false claims and distortions, demonstrating the opposite of transparency, and that's what they claim to offer. Issue 1, they are not transparent. They resist open dialogue and free speech, despite claims to the contrary. They're also engaging in what I consider to be improper campaign practices and harassment. Stronger Clark, whoever speaks for them online, and they never identify themselves apart from Bill, who's a decent guy, they criticize our council, they derisively call our council the Silent Seven, and continue to make personal attacks and criticisms on our mayor while knowing nothing about the issues. I've also received complaints that they're sending unsolicited, unwelcome emails and text messages to Clark residents who do not want these, and then they've asked to be taken off, and they're still receiving these text messages. They have also gone back to their improper habit of placing Schulman signs right by my apartment on the knoll off of Lake Avenue by the bridge. This was taken today by me, Schulman sign right on public land. They should not be doing this, but yet they've done it again, just like Rob Curry, Smithman, Patel, yada, yada, yada did for his prior campaign. Furthermore, they block people online. They temporarily unblock people to claim they're not, and then they block them again. Mr. Frank DeMeo, a longtime Clark resident, sent this to me yesterday. He's claiming he was blocked yet again after challenging or making basic questions to Stronger Clark. If they claim that they are fit for public office in this town, they can at least be open and honest about what their positions are. And what are those positions? I have asked them to clarify or denounce certain things. These include critical race theory, which could be pushed in the schools. This teaches that all people of European heritage are inherently racist and that all of our ancestors had some special magic privilege by which none of our ancestors were ever impoverished or had to work hard. I don't know about you, but I find this incredibly offensive when my ancestors on both sides were living in tenements with rats on the Lower East Side. How dare they? Furthermore, they've also failed to denounce transgender ideology and letting boys in girls' sports. They have not denounced anti-Semitism on Rutgers and other college campuses. They make these platitudes. They want to make Clark more vibrant. What does that mean? Okay. I find that their actions, they post about the town budget, that we're overspending, that but they never say what they want to spend. They park out in front of the old A&P denouncing the town, but never say what they want there. Do they want Section 8 housing? Quite frankly, Mr. Schulman is not here. They never clarify their positions even when asked, and then they block you. So you can't get an answer out of them. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the council. Have a good evening.
Good evening. I'm Delia Collins, 72 Georgia Street. I have the new plan from Union County, And I was amazed to see that the Clark Little League area, part of their property or their fields are on Union County land. I noticed that there is a bridge right now presently going from one field to the other, and that bridge is there because of the stream that comes behind Hutchinson Street. And right now that is in total disrepair. And I don't know if they're going to be dredging that area there because their main dredging is going to be in the reservoir. But going from the property, excuse me a moment, the property behind the houses on Hutchinson Street and going through the land of the Little League that is really part of the county land is really overgrown, and there's no way to have the proper water flow from Hutchinson Street area over to the reservoir, and that's one of the areas that dump out into the reservoir. But on their plan, they're going to be putting another bridge over there, and I don't know if it's going to be a pedestrian bridge, but right now it's a motor vehicle bridge. Thank you.
Come forward. Seeing no one, I'd like to close this portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Thank you, Councilman Toll. Okay. We do have, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Regarding the question of the length of service award program, the reason why the money would change is people didn't qualify to get points. Okay, I sat here and I Googled it, and you can look up and you'll get all the information about how the award program works. So I'm not going to read this to you, but it's right on the internet. And I've reached out to you to see if you would call me and I'd answer some of your questions, but I never heard back. So if you want, we can exchange contacts outside and I can give you what information you need. You have a lot of questions, but a lot of it's right available online, and that's pretty much the answer to that one. As far as the Parkway Drive complaints, I don't know if the police department has had complaints. I haven't had complaints. Steve, Councilman Hunt, you live over there. Have you gotten complaints?
I haven't received complaints, but I concur with John that there are dangerous areas between Parkway Drive and Union County Parkway, but both streets are county roads. So in that force, I have called, the department had at certain times had people, different complaints, not about traffic, but where we've had some action taken, but no real complaints about traffic concerns. But we can address that. I'll speak with Captain and see what we can do about contacting the county.
Mm-hmm. Captain, have you had any complaints in that area? I don't know if you want to comment on it. Okay. As far as the amount of money that goes to the schools, I obtained from the business administrator today the tax levy that was prepared for 2024. And the way it works is there's 4 organizations, but I'll focus on the main 3: the county, the school, and the municipality. So each one of those organizations has rules to follow regarding the amount of money they need to operate. So let's focus on the schools. They have federal funding, they have state funding, and then they have various formulas they need to follow to request their funding. They requested $37,007,717, and that's what they're getting. So I think there's a lot of confusion about someone's taking money away from them, but in the way I look at it, I don't see it that way. They get what they're able to get in accordance with rules that must be followed, just like a town. We can't just raise taxes. We have caps on how much taxes can go up. We have caps on how much we can increase our expenditures. We have caps on how much we can raise our budget. Each year it's different, a different percentage based on what's out there. So to me, the school is getting exactly what they asked for, okay? And I hope that the people that are listening to this As was mentioned this evening, by Mr. Fogarty, there's some misinformation out there, so please make sure you're getting correct information. Please call me if you have any doubts or questions, or any one of the council members or the mayor about things that have come up. I did want to answer that, say those things.
Regarding the schools, the enrollment in all 4 schools, the preschool, Valley Road, Henley, 5 schools, and ALJ is down 37 students this year as of September 2nd. So the apartments are not inundating our town with students. So I just want to clarify that. That's public information and knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the mayor.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. A couple of quick things. I'll try to be quick, but you hear conversation and you do got to answer it. First off, let me start with the reservoir. I posted on Facebook last week that I and Jim had a Zoom meeting with the county manager. If the kayaks and rowboats are okay to go under the reservoir, the Parkway bridges, they would pull the Wendell Place parking lot. That was a commitment that was made the other day. And I want to thank the county manager and the commissioners for working with us. And I got to say to the reservoir enthusiasts, if that happens, you probably got about 98, 99% of what you want. And to me, that's a grand slam, not a home run. On to a speaker we had here tonight who likes to have the mayor corrected. Let me correct him, okay? I take offense to the conversation about we're not welcoming to new people who live in Clark. That's the furthest thing from the truth. We meet new people all the time, and we discuss the things that we can do for them and the sites to put them on so they get the whole benefit of the town. What I kind of have an issue with is when someone moves to town 2 years ago, and obviously you make a decision on a big investment that this is a good place to live, a safe place to live, a clean place to live, a nice place to live with wonderful people, and 2 years later you're running for office trying to tell us that you're not doing the right thing. So either you didn't do your research when you moved in, or you found out something later. I really don't know. I'm going to get to this pilot program. I'm going to do it again for the people who don't quite understand or maybe have a hearing problem. The honest God's truth, excuse me, about the pilot program, as I said before. And the Stronger Clark group has a video out accusing me of lying at a meeting in 2017 when I said I would not make deals with developers. And that is correct. And I did not make deals with developers. At the time, I don't even know if the pilot was a conversation in 2017. I'd have to look back and find out. We were talking about, I'm sure you've read in the papers, saw on TV, in the tri-state areas, you find an area needed redevelopment, and the government says, hey, you're not paying any taxes for 5 years or 10 years or whatever it may be. Those are the deals I would never make and have not made. They want to call the pilot program a deal. It is a state program. It is governed and jurisdiction by the state of New Jersey, which is a good thing, because this way, mayors in any municipalities and councils can't make deals with developers. Because let's say you could make those deals with developers, and someone was buying a site in Clark, and I may have to have a cup of coffee with him 10 years ago at Manny's, they would be saying that it's Bonacorso's buddy and he's giving him a sweetheart deal. So the pilot program takes you away from the sweetheart deal. Okay, there's no sweetheart deals. The pilot program is a payment in lieu of taxes. They pay less money than a regular tax assessment. That is 1,000% true. No one's arguing that. I'm going to try to make it so people can understand if they have either a hearing problem or a comprehension problem. In the payment in lieu of taxes is designed for areas in need of redevelopment. Hence, the Walnut Avenue property, the old A&P property, the property next to Columbia Bank, which is now CubeSmart. Those are areas that have been vacant for many years, are in need of redevelopment. Now, These people who quite don't understand how government works, novices to the game, if you really want to put it that way, keep insisting, well, if you charge them regular tax assessment, the schools and everybody else would get more money. And that is correct again. We're almost kind of understanding the same thing. Where the rub comes in is because of the Democrat control in Trenton, who is sticking the affordable housing down our throats and at our backsides, and that want more going forward in each and every town. These areas in need of redevelopment, many, but not all, are being developed into apartments with affordable housing mandated by law, by the courts, to every municipality in this state. They're mandated that we have an affordable housing number and we have to hit it. So when a developer is going to buy, let's say, Walnut Avenue, since that's the only real building that's up at this point, they're going to buy it. It's okay, an area in need of redevelopment, everybody agrees with that. It qualifies under the state parameters. They come to us for a pilot program. Why? Because if they were paying the regular tax assessment on that property and providing 15% affordable housing units in there, the building wouldn't be profitable for them to build, hence leaving that deplorable site vacant for many more years to come. Do the math. It's there. That's why the pilot program is existing and working and thriving in every municipality around us and throughout the state. It's for those areas. If tomorrow we, as a mayor and council, decided, and this is hypothetical, folks, hypothetical, make believe, we were going to sell the Brewer Municipal Complex and build a brand new municipal complex down at the A&P site. Hypothetical. The Brewer is not an area in need of redevelopment. A builder would not qualify for a pilot there. If you take another site that's thriving, it's not an area in need of redevelopment. It wouldn't qualify for a pilot. CubeSmart did. It was vacant like that for many, many, many years. There's no children affecting our school system. Councilman Smith just put out a little blurb tonight, which I know about. Our school district is down 37 kids from last year. We, I should say you, and then my signature on it, the council, passed an ordinance to make sure that no one ever comes into these chambers, other than us someday, and changes something without a public hearing. We said we are going to pay the school district what they had prior to the redevelopment, so we do not create a hole in their budget. There's not one member of the school board or superintendent complaining to any one of us that we're short money, you're hurting us. It doesn't exist. This is the innuendo campaign that is run to try to get the young moms and dads of school, age children, all excited that the big bad mayor and council are taking funding away. Under that ordinance, we have the right in 2, 3, 5, or 20 years from now, who's ever here, says, wow, Walnut is really hurting the school district or inundated with children. Let's bump their fee up that we're paying them on that property. The law says the county's got to get 5%. The town could keep the rest. We're being noble in giving them what they had prior to the redevelopment. I'll say it again, not to create a hole in their budget. We do not want to do it. He mentioned a number, I said $3 million. A board of members said to me, it's in that area. You know, you got time to research, I got time to work and run a town. So whatever the number is, whatever the to the penny on a calculator number is, I didn't figure it out. A board member said to me it's approximately $3 million. So it's $2 million. It's $1.5 million. Who really cares? It's a savings to this district. It wasn't done before my tenure and your tenure, council, here. The Board of Ed and the mayor and council were at each other's throats back when. We have a harmonious relationship and we work very well together. So when I got to sit here and listen that I lied, I'm making deals, no, I would never make that deal. The deals, quote unquote, is a pilot program. Now, I said to the gentleman who's running for council that we pay all the tax appeals. When we are the collector of taxes, Clark Township is the tax collector for the school board and for the county. When that money comes in, folks, you write your checks, we tally it up, the board gets their 50-odd%, the county gets their 20-odd%, and we keep the rest. When there's a tax appeal, the Township of Clark eats the whole nut. Now, this has been screamed about by mayors and councils. I started in this 28 years ago. It was going full steam ahead probably way before that. Why is this happening? It's not fair. And I agree with it, but no one's willing to change it. So that's an old argument. That's like saying, and maybe they will, that they're going to get a parkway entrance on Inman Avenue. That's the same argument. It's going nowhere, okay? If you look at tonight's budget agenda, there was $100,373 and change that this township budget has to pay back on tax appeals. We're not going to the school saying, excuse me, Mr. Grande, that check for $53,000, could you get it to me by Friday or would Monday be better? We're not going to the county saying that check of $20-some thousand, could you get it to us today or would tomorrow be okay for you? We're eating the whole thing. We provide the most services in this community: police, fire, first aid, DPW, recreation, anything that goes on in the curbs of this town, we are providing and paying for. We all have had children go to the school district and have family members that are working in the school district. So we are providing for that school district. When I hear novices and, these ideas and they're so worried, what are you so worried about? So far, there's 2 buildings that have been put up. One never had children in it whatsoever, CubeSmart. They're on a pilot. And the other one is Walnut Avenue. And we're down 37 students with the ability that we could raise our payment to the school as time goes forward if and when we see a need. And they come to us for a need. The same thing at the A&P site. There's not going to be a developer in Clark. So what do you do, ladies and gentlemen, if you're me or them, God forbid, and you turn around and Joe Jones comes in to develop the A&P site, and he says, well, I want to put apartments, which was passed by the planning board that time, but it wasn't Joe Jones, I'm just using a hypothetical name, 77 apartments and stores downstairs. And I'd like to have a pilot program. Well, you can't have a pilot program because somebody in town that's running for council is very upset by pilot programs. So we're going to say no pilot program. You say, well, I can't afford to build a building then because I got to provide 15% of it with affordable housing. Lesser rents than the other 85% is going to charge. Lesser rent. It doesn't make sense for me. Hey, Mr. Mayor, have a great day. Good to meet you. I'll see you. You're not building it? No. Okay. We wait for the next builder. 6 months later, 2 months later, a week, a year, whatever you want to imagine. It's the same story. Then you'll see them trespassing, whoever they sent, inside the old A&P, saying the mayor's not building this, the mayor's not building this. The mayor had somebody to the planning board. There was a planning board approval on 77 apartments and stores down below. The mayor worked with the prior owners, the Davidsons, and they were gentlemen, and we tried to have them develop it. Until one day the mayor said to Mr. Leza when he was here, call the attorneys, we're going to go for condemnation. Within a cat's whisker, it was sold to Garden Homes. They put together a plan. It was approved by the planning board. When they weren't building Jim and myself were calling, hey, what's going on? They built Woodcrest in town. They built Walnut in town. We know the developer. They're decent people to work with. We're not trying to be heavy-handed thugs. We turned around and talked. First, another Democrat program called Bidenomics graced its presence in this country. Interest rates went soaring through the roof. Then we had supply chain issues. It took them 6 months to get a gas meter over on Walnut. Okay, things happen, we get it. If you live in the real world, things happen and we get it. And then it came time that there was a little bit of radio silence going on between myself and them. And now we were moving towards condemnation once again. Either build it or move on. Bottom line. So when you're participating in this year's campaign, ladies and gentlemen, and you hear a novice approach, not even amateur, novice, to what we're doing so wrong. You've elected me for 24 years, 6 terms. I obviously had to be doing something right. This council's been elected for a long time. The only people at meetings criticizing are them. See anybody else come up? We delivered on the reservoir for them. And when I say we, I want to make that very clear. I and Jim have negotiated with the county and worked with them. I give the Reservoir Committee and the citizens of Clark a hell of an attaboy on their slap on the back because they came to that August 2nd meeting and articulated why they did not want what they had the idea of building out there. So I give them as much credit as anybody. We're working in a professional. We got accused of sitting silent on the reservoir. It wasn't silent. It was what we normally do. Zoom meetings, sitting across from conference rooms. I'm not going to run out there every 2 minutes. And we did this today and we did that today to satisfy 4 people. To satisfy 4 people. They got to know every move I make. Hi, I'm going into the men's room today. Hi, I'm picking up a call, returning a phone call to a citizen today. I mean, you know, let's go here. If you don't get this pilot program and this is what you think that way. And we'll see if this town ever has a brain hemorrhage and elects you, what you're going to do when you're sitting here. When a developer says, no, I'm not investing $60 million of my money into that project, $30 million, $40 million, because that's what those projects go for, and I'm going to lose money on it? If you have any sense, you'll do what we do. Negotiate the pilot, make it worthwhile, keep the school whole with the provision that we can always help them if we have to going forward. And we put that into an ordinance, the pilot agreement, so someone just can't willy-nilly in the middle of the night change it without a public hearing. So we've safeguarded our school district. We've done everything we can with our school district. We have an awesome relationship with our school district. We have helped them, and they've helped us. That's what good government does with each other. But you move in, you got an idea, I got a better idea. Run for the Board of Education, let me know how you make out, if you have all the answers. They have all the answers today. So no, I refute that claim on social media. I didn't make deals with developers. I didn't make personal, private, mayoral deals with developers. Never did that. We followed a state program that the builder wanted, that made a lot of sense on paper to understand after looking at his numbers why it had to be done, and we agreed to it. The schools are whole, the town's making money. Where are they going to get this $100,373 in tax appeals? Where's that coming from? Under our mattress in town hall? It costs money. It's our apple. We got to bite that apple. We have to have a revenue stream coming into this community. We have to have a revenue stream also to come into this community to do the things that we do here so well each and every day. So folks, as the old saying comes, take it from whence it comes. You know, as they say, are you happy in town or you're not. It's a simple conclusion. Don't let someone tell you how you should feel, whether it be me or them. You tell us. And we look forward to that November 5th. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. And I hope this is the last time we have to broach the pilot program.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Hund?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a couple of things. Thank you to the police department, as usual, for their continued support of the town and the traffic concerns that residents have expressed all over town, and the different radar stops or radar traps that have been put up, the cars being parked on the side of the road. Valley Road had one for the last couple of days. Even I forget that it's a fake car when I'm going up there, and I go by it every day. So people that are coming from out of town definitely will think it's a real policeman sitting in the car. Good luck to all the teams in our sporting events in the high school and the middle school. They're in full season now, and good luck to all of them. And then I also look forward to seeing many residents at the Unico Festival, as we do every year. It's a great time to get together with residents and friends and have a good time. So hopefully we'll see everyone there, or as many people as possible there. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hund. Councilman Mazzarella?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Just very briefly, as I say each month, please remember to lock your doors in your vehicles and your homes. It's very important, especially in these times that we're in lately. And if you see something, please don't hesitate to call our police department. They'll respond quickly to ensure your safety and well-being. So don't hesitate to call. Stay vigilant. And as I said, if you see something, don't hesitate to call. And I'd like to just comment on the mayor. You were right, spot on, Mayor, on the pilot. You know, it's, you know, there's a lot of misinterpretations out there on what the pilot is really about. And I thank you for bringing that to their attention. Hopefully they'll, you know, this will put a lid on their naysayers on the pilot. Until next month, be well, stay safe, and God bless. Thank you.
Councilman Minetti?
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, I got to tell you, I'm proud of our Board of Education. I think they do a great job managing the budget. I have children. I have a child in the school today. I don't think he misses a beat. My daughter graduated 4 years ago. Her and her friends went on to make a big impact, not only in our community, but others. They became nurses, doctors. My class, we had an astronaut. They go on to do professionals. They own landscaping businesses. They go on to do very, very well. So with somebody coming to a microphone, and I don't care if you're new in town or you've been here 30 years, saying that our Board of Education is cheating our children, that's wrong. That's absurd. I'm proud of the children of Clark and what they accomplish after they graduate. I'm there every day with my son, who's a junior at Johnson, and I'm proud of him and all his friends, and I think they're going to move on, and they're going to change the world, and I don't think they're missing a beat. With that being said, as the president of the ALJ Booster Club, I support the athletes over at Johnson, and our membership drive is in full force. Please, you know, our membership drive is very, very important to us as we fund scholarships, we fund the athletic awards dinners, and the letters that they wear on their jackets. So we could use our membership also. We're there on Friday nights to support our football games by opening up the Snack Shack. Most of our sports in the fall are doing very, very well. Boys and girls soccer are off to a great start, and so is our football team with a win over New Providence Friday night, and just want to congratulate them, and you know, they're just doing a great job. With that, I look forward to our next month's meeting, and that's all my comments for tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Minetti. Councilman Smith?
Thank you, Madam President. Again, just a reminder on two events coming up in October, the Unico Festival, October 11th through 13th in the Brewer parking lot, and Saturday, October 19th is the Trunk or Treat. We will mention it again at the next council meeting, but I want to make the residents aware and get ready to prepare for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Toll?
Thank you, Madam President. Two issues. The issue of the reservoir To the community who was not at our executive meeting, at the executive meeting, I spoke and said the credit for the change to the plan goes to that man over there and that BA who spent hours working behind the scenes to get the plan modified, as well as the credit to say to the Clark Reservoir Save the Resi group, an incredible job. Incredible work by the young lady sitting here, Nancy and Delia. Thank you for everything you've done for this community. It must be said. But our mayor, behind the scenes, worked beyond the norm. He put in hours. And that plan got altered and changed because of his efforts. And you have to give credit. It doesn't matter political. You have to give credit where it's due. Sal, thank you. On behalf of the residents of who are directly impacted in the 4th Ward. And now you're mentioning something about Wendell still to be determined? We hope so, because that's the last bastion of the problem. You get that out of there and you work another way, the plan, everyone welcomes stretching, everyone welcomes a walking path and a scenic view, a scenic pier, absolutely. But do the plan right. And having somebody behind the scenes working to get the plan corrected, because the county, as I said from months ago, the county kind of gets carried away with their ideas. But the ideas are noble. They are going to be modified to what is best for all people, all the citizens. And to you, Nancy, and to Delia, and your entire group, thank you. You must be told publicly because you guys worked your butts off to help keep our resi the way we always wanted it. Clean, safe, passive, non-structured use is what I've been always saying. And I'll get into that the last. To those we lost in the last month, Marguerite, Marge, Voynick, Jasmine, former Frank Henley 5th grade teacher, a founding member of the Clark Grand Centurions. To her sons, John, Brian, and Glenn. Went to school with Glenn, class of 78. And to the three brothers, your mother was one of the nicest ladies in Clark. She will be missed dearly. What a great lady. If you ever had an opportunity to meet her, a very, very sweet lady. Maria Rosa DeMarco, a Clark resident for over 50 years, active with her family in Clark. They came from Italy. She was in town. And just our neighbors and family were everything. And it's somebody like that you want to say thanks and when they pass. Noelia Isabel Gomez, a lifelong resident of Clark, to her father Francisco and mother Anna and the entire family, our deepest condolences on your loss. She will always be in our hearts and was a Clark resident. To Ann Yersavage, she was known as the first daughter of Clark, a lifetime Clarkite, beloved daughter of Clark Mayor Bernie Yersavage and Mrs. Ann E. Yersavage. When her father ran for office in town, she could always be seen at the start of the campaign doing everything, stuffing envelopes, mailing letters, knocking on doors for her father. Ann Yersavage was the wonderful girl who was Daddy's little girl. And it's going back a couple generations, but to the Yersavage family, our condolences. I just want to finish up with this. I heard the term Silent 7. That is the furthest from the truth. We work our butts up here. We don't get all the credit. We do. This is the most hardworking group of council members I've had the honor to serve with. I don't always agree with them, and I might be left off to the side, but they care so much about this community. Each one has their own pluses that they bring to this dais and gives back to the community. To call them Silent 7 is just ridiculous. Please, talk the truth and you get better results. Thank you, Madam President. I'm done for the night. Wish to see everyone next month.
Thank you, Councilman Toll. Actually, I'd like to dovetail on that Silent 7. Yes, I think I've explained in the past, this is a meeting where we're reviewing legislation and passing on it and discussing it. We have our form of government has a workshop meeting where we can discuss things and have questions answered. But we're here to conduct a legislative meeting and citizens have an opportunity to speak. Some of the questions that come up, I don't mean to, insult anyone, but I'm not going to have LoSAP statistics about why those numbers specifically went up or down. But you can contact the administration at any time to get those answers on a specific question, such as why is it 1,000 one year and 60,000 another. I do want to thank the mayor for his comments. Thank you so much. Because there's a lot of confusion out there, misinformation given as far as I'm concerned, especially when you talk about deals with developers. There is a process to follow. The council here does not determine whether an area is in need of redevelopment. We have a planning board. They use the guidance of the legislation that's provided by the state of New Jersey as to fitting the criteria. There are attorneys present that review the interpretations and guide them along on how to make those decisions. If it qualifies, then it can be determined. If you're giving more affordable units, what have you, you negotiate the contract that is followed. As the mayor said, yes, they pay less money, but it's not forever. 30 years is not that long, and there are normally escalations. I know you're laughing, but how long did we have the CVS property? For years? That property was abandoned. We had Jack Ford's Tavern there, et cetera, and people were very upset in this town about the way it looked. How do you like driving into a town and you look at those buildings that were there? So that took a long time but did you want to add something on that?
President, and you say 30 years, it does go soon. There is an escalation clause in there that does elevate it.
During the whole period?
Right. Well,
Yes.
It starts and then it goes into a thing. But again, the most important thing I want to reiterate what you just said, misinformation and twisting. It's political twisting, because the question still has to be asked, what would you do if a developer says it doesn't make sense to do this project at the tax assessment? You're going to let an ugly building sit out there until someone comes along. Most people that I know that are spending 20, 30, 50, 60 million on a building are not stupid people. Matter of fact, Walnut Hill and the A&P property, the company is owned by the Wilf family. By buildings all over the country. He owns the Minnesota Vikings. These are not stupid people. Numbers have to work, not fantasies you have when you're running for an office that, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. That's the novice in you that doesn't understand government, not amateur, novice. Amateur means you're in it a little bit and you're learning. And then, even with the reservoir, they criticized us in the beginning. We were working, doing our job. We don't announce it. We don't need to. We're not looking for credit. We want to get the job done. And it goes on from there, and it's a twist on words, but we still haven't heard what they could do better. I want to, if you don't mind, I'm sorry, because I'm not going on Facebook and debating with this guy back and forth. Shulman's looking to debate me. I've done 2 debates up here. Council, you were involved in them. It's a waste of everybody's time, especially when you're dealing with novices that have opinions. It's like me sitting in an operating room tomorrow and saying to the doctor, my opinion of that open heart surgery, maybe you should have did this. I don't know, but it's an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. So, Shulman, here's what I'll do with you. I love the voters. I love talking to people, because that's when that's where the rubber meets the road. If you want to debate, why don't you and I, just you and I, go out on Saturdays? We'll do 4 wards over 4 Saturdays. Whatever time limit you want, an hour, 5 hours, 2 hours, 10, I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me. And we'll go door to door, you and I. And we'll knock on the person's door and we'll introduce ourselves. And I'll say, we're here. I'm your mayor. He's my opponent. What do you have on your mind? And we'll answer it. And we'll talk that. Not some arrogant, scripted, speech leaning on the podium. I've done it. It was a waste of time, folks. Council, you did it that same night with me. 6 council people up there debating. They got about 3 or 4 minutes each to debate, and the thing was over with. And my debate was so good that my opponent endorsed me at the end of the debate, if you remember that. It's on tape. So if you'd like to go out, Shulman, on Saturdays, you know what I'll do? I'm such a sport. I'm such a good guy, if I don't mind saying myself. How about we start right on Carolina Street? You're in the home neighborhood. I'll go on your home court. I'll wear my away jersey. We'll go to Carolina. We'll go to Georgia. We'll go to Picton. We'll go to Boynton. You and I. Door to door. No scripts. Somebody from the League of Women's Voters that doesn't know what's going on in town, asking questions. They really have no relevance to what's happening. You and I, that's my challenge to you. If you want to go out, you and me, for how many hours you want, you pick it. I'll do it. I probably got you by about, 25, 30 years in age. I'll go door to door with you for as long as you want. 4 Saturdays. We start in your home neighborhood. If you want this Saturday, the following Saturday, you could choose what ward. The following Saturday, another ward. The following Saturday, another ward. Door to door. Council doesn't matter. People vote for the mayor first. That's what they want to hear, with all due respect. So you let me know. If not, end it. I'm not getting into your games and your stupidity with this debating. I've listened to you for 2 years. I'm not impressed, and I don't want to waste my time. Thank you. I'm sorry, Madam President.
Thank you. The one other thing I wanted to mention on the redevelopment is, what you don't appreciate, and it's kind of intangible, is by not having blighted pockets throughout the town, by having redevelopment and investment made in our community, that raises the property values of the whole town. I think we talked about Clark having the highest increase in property values in the county last year, or it did at least increase. So I think you're underestimating that as well. And the last point on the cost of the brewer, I just really kind of visualize, I wouldn't want all these children taking buses out of town to go to school, taking buses back. It's a tremendous value, regardless of whether it's 1 million or 3 million, to have that space available for our children in Clark to stay in Clark and get their education here. That concludes my report. I need to get on to the professionals. Counselor?
No comments.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, thank you. This Saturday and Sunday is the town-wide garage sale. You can still sign up until the 19th, which is this Thursday. And so far we have, a lot of people signing up, but if you haven't signed up yet, you have until Thursday. And then the list will come out on the website. Yes, our Director of Communications just said yes, the list will be out on the website. If you haven't signed up and you want to, go to www.ourclark.com. You can just go click on online services, scroll down to the clerk's office, and you will see the garage sale application. Or you can just go to the e-forms, right? Okay, online services, and you'll find e-forms. The other thing I wanted to talk about is voter registration. The last day to register to vote is October 15th. If you're not sure if you are registered, you can go to unioncountyvotes.com. If you're more comfortable for us to look it up, my phone number is 732-388-3669, and we will look you up in the system. We had some residents come in saying that they were mailed or handed a voter registration form, and they think they have to fill it out again. Double check if you're registered already. You don't need to fill out a new form if you're already registered. Very quick and easy to find out. 732-388-3669. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ulrich.
Yes, I got a couple of things. First, to, again, dovetail into what you were saying about LoSAP. There are requirements, and as a 25-year volunteer for the ambulance squad, I understand the program in detail. And the reason we're only funding the $1,000 is because if you don't qualify, that money actually comes back to the township. So we're still running a little bit of a surplus. Next year, we'll evaluate the number of people that came in and what's left of the surplus. So at some point, we will again be funding it. So that's where that number comes from. I wanted to just also make a clarification on some of these things, especially with the pilot, and so people get an idea of what we're really talking about. Currently, we have about 263 units that were required. With the fourth round coming around, the estimate's somewhere between 123 and 139 additional units that we need for affordable housing, which leaves us somewhere between 386 and a little bit more than 400 units for the town. We don't know what that final number is going to be, but that's what the best estimates are. So the pilots are very important to get to that point, so we have the developers who are going to come in and build those units so we can satisfy our requirements. It's not our requirements. We don't come up with the numbers. The numbers are given to us by the state, and we have to comply with it. So, again, you know, it is an advantage. Correct. So as the mayor said, you know, the areas are designated as part of our master plan as areas for affordable housing. So it's Schifferstein's, Westfield Avenue. I'm not going to go through them all, but, you know, those are the areas that are designated for those properties. Last but not least is I wanted to just, you know, we have a lot of recreation plans out there, and you know, I want to, you know, there's a lot of things that are going on. I ask everybody to, you know, look at our recreation page. You know, a lot of things are free. Some things cost a little bit of money, but there are a lot of good programs out there. I'm going to highlight just one for this year. It's actually the Active Kids in Minds. It's for children in the 2nd through 4th grades. And what they're going to be doing is increasing healthy life, teaching about food, and also, you know, some groups, some competitive competitive exercises. So I ask everybody to take a look at that one in particular, because we are we're looking to start a program here and then roll it out, you know, for all the appropriate age groups. We're working with the school, and we're going to start with the 2nd to the 4th grade. That's all that I have.
Okay, since you mentioned that recreation program, and we have all our new programs going, starting this fall, I just want to put in a plug for the martial arts program that we have here at the Clark Recreation Center. It's been here for 38 years. It's probably the oldest program that we've had. We did not even have gyms when this program started, but they worked with the township, and I hope that you'll look into it. The classes are held on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and it's for children 8 years, and then through life, for life. You do it for life, 8 and above. So it's for adults, teens. We're organizing a club at the high school, and we look forward to doing that as well. So that concludes that comment. I'd like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Thank you, Councilman Hund. All in favor?